Ladies and gentlemen, from U2, The Edge.
How are you doing? I'm sure that the last thing that Mick or Paul or Topper or Terry or Joe, bless him, would want is for me to stand up here tonight and sell you all a load of emotional hype or blarney about The Clash and how fantastic they were. But sorry about that, lads, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. And not because they need to hear it, but because I don't think that the rest of you know just how great they really were. I love this band. And to me, without doubt, they are, next to the Stones, the greatest rock and roll band of all time. And just in case there's any of you out there who are starting to think that maybe I'm going a bit overboard, let me qualify that by saying I think Elton and Elvis are in the singer-songwriter category. The Beatles are obviously pop. Sting, you're sort of white reggae, different. U2, I don't know, we're some sort of supersonic folk. But in rock and roll terms, The Clash are the shit. There's no else. You know, I know this because I saw it back in 1977 in a small hall in Trinity College, Dublin, and it actually changed my life. Bono was there, Adam and Larry, all the local bands. We were like 16 at the time. And the first thing I noticed were the road crew, like their roadies. They looked so incredible. They were like they'd come from some Vivienne Westwood show on acid. And there seemed to be hundreds of them, and they weren't doing anything, but they were just kind of wandering around on the stage with these huge mohawk hairdos and like these kilts, and we were completely mesmerized. But then when the lights went down, it was like the place just absolutely exploded. And it was like they were possessed. They went into the White Riot, and it was just the most intense thing anyone in that building had ever seen. The rage, the commitment. It was years later that someone explained to me about something called amphetamine sulfide. But whatever was going on, it went way past being just a rock and roll show. You know, it was truly shamanistic. And by the end of the night, Dublin was a different place. Because for everyone there, that show was a kind of an awakening. We all caught a glimpse of something distant but now attainable, a sense of possibilities, part political, part musical, part personal, but all completely inspirational. The revolution had come to town. There is no doubt in my mind that Sunday Bloody Sunday wouldn't and couldn't have been written if it wasn't for The Clash. Instead of just surviving, they moved beyond punk and gave us a string of truly amazing rock and roll records. London Calling, Sandinista, and Combat Rock. Looking back now, The Clash's contribution to the survival of rock and roll, I think, is unique. Because during the late 70s and early 80s, when punk was starting to wane, mainstream rock had become hopelessly and awfully redundant. The Clash, along with one or two other bands, carried the torch. They broke through barriers of perception and genre and left behind them 1,000 bands in garage land who caught a glimpse of what they saw and strove for, including one from Ireland called U2. If they'd arrived 10 years earlier, they would have given the Beatles, the Kinks and the Stones a run for their money. If they'd arrived 10 years later, maybe they might have been able to resolve their internal conflicts and stayed the course. Either way, we might have enjoyed a few more records and tours, but you know what? They wouldn't have been The Clash. So now it is my great honor and pleasure to induct The Clash into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.